So today, we're going to talk about a guy who didn't just break the rules of YouTube, he basically threw the whole playbook out the window and wrote a new one. We're diving into the absolutely wild journey of Jimmy Donaldson, who you almost certainly know as MrBeast, to figure out how in the world did he do it.
You know, this quote right here, it's pretty much the perfect summary of the whole MrBeast story. It's all about this kid from a small town who had a dream so big, so completely out there, that for the longest time, everyone else just thought, yeah, that's impossible. Yeah, before all the private islands and the stacks of cash, you gotta remember, there was just Jimmy, a pretty normal kid actually, from Greenville, North Carolina, with a camera and this dream that, let's be honest, seemed totally nuts back then. And when you look at his early life, you realize this was no silver spoon story, not at all. He was raised by a single mom in a military family, so money was definitely tight. On top of that, he was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which made his teenage years a real struggle. So what do you do? Well, at just 13, he fired up YouTube. He wasn't MrBeast yet, just a kid trying to find his own little world. The way he started is, well, it's pretty much how everyone started back then, making gaming videos, microphone tests, stuff that got almost no views. And yet somehow that kid ended up making these insane real-life Squid Games and giving away private islands. It's just a wild contrast. The big question we have to ask is, how? How does that become this? Well, here's the thing. It wasn't luck. Not even close. It was a pure, unfiltered, all-consuming obsession with figuring out YouTube. I mean, he said it himself, right there. Think about it. While other teenagers were out with friends, he was just locked in his room, treating YouTube like a science experiment. He was trying to crack the code of virality. His whole life was just this simple, intense loop. Learn, create, sleep. And that's it. Nothing else. So in 2017, this one number just pops up everywhere. 100,000. What was it, right? A donation? Subscriber goal? Nope. It was something way, way weirder. And honestly, it was the thing that changed absolutely everything for him. Get this. He sat down and filmed himself counting out loud to 100,000. The whole thing took him over 40 hours. I mean, the video is completely pointless, right? It's absurd. But it was also this incredible test of just doing it. And people couldn't look away. It went massively viral. And that's when the light bulb went off for Jimmy. He realized people are desperate for ideas that are big, a little bit insane, and totally unique. And that one lesson, he took it and literally built an empire on it. The new formula was pretty simple, really. Just take that same level of, wow, that's crazy, and apply it to everything he did, constantly trying to top himself. And it really broke down into two main types of videos. So first up, you have the insane challenges. This stuff taps right into that part of our brain that's just fascinated by limits. You know, how far can a person go? Being buried alive for 50 hours, recreating a real-life Squid Game. Every single one of these videos was a spectacle that just made you lean in and wonder, there's no way he can actually do this. Can he? And the second pillar was just as big. These massive, almost unbelievable giveaways. He figured out that giving away millions of dollars, brand new houses, even a whole private island, it wasn't just being generous, it was the content itself. And that's where he totally blurred the lines between being a YouTuber and being this kind of modern-day Willy Wonka. But come on, with that much insane growth, with that much money flying around, you gotta wonder, was it all just fun and games? No way, of course it wasn't. See, when you get that big, that fast, the spotlight gets incredibly bright. Every single move he made was put under a microscope. And his crazy methods? Well, they brought on a whole storm of criticism and some really tough challenges. The pressure was just immense. For a long time, he was basically one video away from being completely broke because he poured every single cent he made right back into the next video. And as he got more famous, the attacks came from everywhere. People accused him of using fake money, there were stories about a really tough work environment on set, and of course, the big one, that all this charity was just a trick to get more views. But here's what's interesting. Jimmy's response to all that noise wasn't to get into arguments on Twitter. Nope, he just doubled down. He used his massive platform to do things on a scale that, honestly, most YouTubers, heck, most people could never even dream of. Take Team Trees back in 2019. The goal was to raise $20 million to plant 20 million trees. A huge goal, right? Well, the internet didn't just hit the goal, they absolutely obliterated it. And then, because of course he did, he went even bigger. Team C's brought everyone together to raise over $33 million to clean up the oceans. At this point, you have to realize these aren't just viral videos anymore. This is real, measurable, global change. And this quote, this really gets to the heart of his whole philosophy. He figured out that virality itself could be a massive force for good. The crazy challenges, the over-the-top videos, they weren't just for views. They were the engine. An engine that paid for these huge charity projects and made it possible to change people's lives. The money, the views, that was all just the fuel. The real destination was the impact. So when you boil it all down, MrBeast's story started with a dream that everyone else called impossible. And he just went and did it anyway. He proved that if you mix that insane, relentless work ethic with creativity that's completely off the charts, you can literally change what the world thinks is possible. Which really just leaves one last question for you to think about. What's your impossible dream?